What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of What the Fanboy Show. Today we're reviewing Asteroid City.
Heck yeah, baby.
With special guest Trevor from a number of podcasts. The one that's, closest to my heart is the Deconstructing the MCU podcast. We just talked about an MCU property.
We did.
In our TV talk. We talked about Secret Invasion, which I don't know if we'll get around to doing the TV shows in the MCU, Deconstructing the MCU, but if you're curious kind of what 10, 15 years of retrospect, looking back on those first movies, I think at this point we're up through
Civil War just released, last week.
We have all those where we go in and we do a deep dive on, what's it setting? What's the state of the world? How does that affect our viewing of it?
Box office numbers. What else came out that year?
Yeah. There's lots of movies other than MCU movies. It's kind of what I'm remembering. It's like, oh yeah, there were 15 other movies this year that I really enjoyed. Right. I should go rewatch those maybe as well. Not that the MCU movies, we haven't really trashed any of them.
No.
What I appreciate is we're finding good things to say about the ones that we didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
And we're finding criticisms with the ones that were like, oh, this is perfect.
Right. And I've noticed, listening back to them as we've been recording them, they've been getting better. Where we put them against other movies of the year, where it's more and more of this was pretty good as it went on. Mm-hmm. So it's been nice.
Yeah, it has been. And then Tyler's here still. We haven't scared him off. Tyler, before we jump into our episode, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Do I want to announce my thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, listening to it live, I have a really cool announcement. Something that I never in a million years thought would have ever happened to me, but somehow it did. I did a Big 12 show for a while on the Takeover Sports Network. Those are great guys over there. Earlier this year, I stepped away from that as I have my second child being born this year, things like that. So it wasn't going to work out. This past week, it's really been going on for about 2 weeks now. Warner Media and Bleacher Report have been talking to me, and I will be doing 2 live shows on the Bleacher Report app later this week. If you're watching live, if you're getting this later, they may have already happened. The first one will be July 12th. The second will be July 14th. It's a really cool opportunity, just 2 30-minute shows to talk about Big 12 Media Day on Wednesday, and then I'll talk about predicting the Big 12 winner on the 14th. Those will be in the Big 12 News section on the Bleacher Report app. It's a really cool opportunity. I technically have signed a contract with Warner Media, which is really cool.
He's playing with the big boys now.
It's a really cool opportunity, and it's kind of hard to say no to it. But if the Big 12 is your thing, or if you just want to support, go into the Bleacher Report app and check it out. It'll be really cool. Looking forward to it.
Cheers to you, sir.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's awesome.
Over in the chat, JT, I hope we've now explained that Luke did not, in fact, grow a beard and change his voice.
That's true.
We just have our good friend Trevor here to fill in for him as he's watching this very moment the new Mission Impossible movie.
I'll be honest, I'm a little jealous. Just a little bit.
We could go tomorrow. Apparently they have you can't go tomorrow.
I can't go tomorrow. No. I can't probably go until Thursday night. Or Sunday.
Should we make a date of it?
We could. It would have to be a late showing, though. We'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk. Because my wife wants to see it as well.
Okay.
I know. Third wheels, always awkward.
Yeah.
In any case,
she does good at it, though.
She does. Yeah, she's a good third wheel. Absolutely. We do need to talk about new trailers that came out this week before we review Asteroid City.
Heck yeah.
There was a couple. One that I saw. I know Tyler didn't get around to seeing. I don't know if Trevor saw it. It's called Theater Camp.
Oh, I have seen it. Yeah.
We saw it. I saw it before Asteroid City in the theater. I actually haven't seen it online at all. I didn't go looking for it, but it. Sometimes I watch enough movie things that the algorithms figure that I just want to see new trailers.
They find you.
They find me.
Yeah.
This looked really fun. It was kind of a little. It feels like a little indie. I think it's like a Searchlight Pictures film. So it feels like it's a little,
it's a little like this
summer camp.
Yeah, summer camp thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up if you're kind of into that band camp, summer camp, singing things. Like, it looks like it's a lot of fun.
Jimmy Tatro's in it. He's funny. I like him.
I think it's Ben Platt's like thing. I think he's. I don't know if he's backing it or if he's like a director on it or what, but I think he's primarily a Broadway guy now. I think he just finished a Broadway run with as like a duet show with somebody else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that one was pretty cool.
He is a producer on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one it was Twisted Metal. Got a new trailer.
Oh yeah.
Today. I wasn't hot on the first trailer. This one at least explained a little more. That said, I don't think it looks any more interesting.
Yeah, it's so weird because like this game is fun. Like, it's a fun game. I loved it. Playing it when I was younger. But yeah, I just don't know why. Like, I don't know why Peacock ended up with this. This feels like something that could have been on like Netflix or Prime, and they could have gotten real rowdy. But like, it feels like it's going to be kind of rowdy, but not rowdy enough for like the subject. I mean,
they drop like 3 F-bombs in the trailer.
They do.
So
they do.
They'll be rowdy in its language, but probably not in its gore.
Probably. It's a thumbs down for me. It's a thumbs down.
Thumbs down as well.
Is that something
So we go thumbs up,
here,
thumbs down on trailers.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I've only listened to the podcast. I've never watched the live show, so
you hear us.
I thought you guys are
up.
always just like, yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
A good reminder, thumbs down is the trailer did not impress us. Or it made us less interested in the movie. A sideways thumb is like, it doesn't really do anything for you. And then like a thumbs up is it's a good trailer.
Great.
Maybe it won't be a good movie,
I don't know why I didn't
but
just
it's a good
infer
trailer.
that, but
It's all good.
Always safe to ask.
Heck yeah.
The next trailer I have is called Jewels. I'm not sure if either of you had seen this. I didn't have an opportunity to mention it before.
I watched it with subtitles while we were watching the other things. It looks real weird.
It looks real weird. Kind of about a older gentleman who
Ben
has
Kingsley,
been,
right?
Yeah. Who has a UFO crash in his backyard,
Yeah.
and a little alien is living with him,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think it with the audio, with the I mean, I feel like I was able to get a little more of the performance out of it.
Sure.
I thought it was kind of cute and heartwarming. It looks more like not like a family. It's not. It doesn't look like a family film, but it looks like more of a heartwarming film than like a straight up comedy.
Yeah. Kind of like a older people modern day E.T.
Yeah,
maybe,
kind of. Yeah. Definitely has some of those vibes.
Hair and makeup looks great. Ben Kingsley looks way older than he is.
Or maybe he just normally looks younger than he actually does.
Maybe so.
So, and then the big one that I have, that was the one that's a thumbs up for me. It was one that kind of came out of nowhere that I was like, yeah, that's fine. That looks good.
That one. Is that a up
Yeah,
down?
sideways thumb is good.
Sideways
Yeah,
thumb.
You're
That's
good.
what it is.
You're
Okay.
good.
That's
doesn't,
safe.
doesn't move the needle for you.
Okay.
The final trailer that came out today that I have written down is Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Joaquin Phoenix, and who did we say the lead actress was?
Vanessa Kirby?
Vanessa Kirby. I already forgot.
How could you ever?
What an interesting trailer.
Yeah.
My guess is that the movie isn't going to feel like this trailer at all.
I hope not.
That said, I actually kind of dug it. But again, I also don't expect the movie to be that, so I'm still looking forward to the movie on top of that.
I'm curious how much of it's going to be like him as general, and then him as king, and then him as like tyrants. Because it looks like it's pretty like evenly split.
Well, yeah, and they, like in the marketing too, like they're saying it, like they're making sure to point it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they balance that.
Yeah.
Agreed, because anytime you're talking about like an epic and a life and what's the story, like how much of it's compressed versus are we doing like 10-year breaks between things?
Well, it's always interesting too. Like, there's the obvious things to focus on, right, with Napoleon, but like
what?
What smaller things do you choose to really hone in on? I actually don't know. But like,
I was,
felt like
no,
if
I
you were
was,
writing it,
I was
yeah.
just trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
It didn't land. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. I wasn't gonna embarrass myself and pretend I know the history of Napoleon. So.
Oh yeah, the Battle of
French people and
Waterloo
stuff.
and
Oui, oui. I don't know.
Brett showed it or like pulled it up and we watched it kind of as Tyler was showing up and the opening reminds me so much of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I think it's like the same square, it's the same kind of like gray vibe kind of thing, and
slow motion.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously like it's a like they're gonna hang a person or they're gonna like guillotine
or
and,
something. Yeah,
like you do kind of half expect someone to like walk through with a blade.
Yeah, and all white cloak and yeah.
So for me, this was a thumbs up. I agree that it was a little bit weird of a choice for like music and trailer cutting, but this still kept me excited about the movie. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna thumbs up this. I think this looks really good. I don't think the trailer or the movie will be anything like what the trailer is. No. But I just hope it does well because Ridley Scott's not had a great run as of late.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to hear him complain on Twitter again.
Right.
So, yeah, really hope it does well.
A happy Ridley Scott. Like Ridley Scott's like the barometer for like
for
Hollywood.
where theater is.
It's like if we have a happy Ridley Scott, we have a happy Hollywood.
Exactly.
So we need this to do well, and we need the writer's strike to be over.
Yes.
So if
somebody's listening and they can, speed that up, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
A lot of projects on hold that I want to see. So
right.
let's get this ball rolling. Yeah, thumbs up. I think this looks awesome.
We're at that point where things are definitely delayed.
Same for me.
Sweet. Okay, well then we can move into our review of Asteroid City. This is Wes Anderson's, I honestly don't know, 13th film? No, that's not
500.
Right. Wes Anderson movies. It's probably
9.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. He's only made, in the past, like since Grand Budapest, I think he's only made French Dispatch and before he did this.
11. He has some smaller ones. My guess is that they're...
I want to go back and watch quite a few of them because...
Are you saying you enjoyed it?
Yes.
Well, let's get right into it, Tyler. This is a star-studded film, and it's a very Wes Anderson film. Now, this is Tyler's very first Wes Anderson film.
No kidding.
So, what did you think?
Yeah, so we like to do impressions, right? Mm-hmm. Like we like to do our tweet review. I just put my first Wes Anderson film did not disappoint. Great dialogue, awesome camera work, and a stellar cast. Land this thing in conversation for one of my favorites of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Trevor?
Pretty overall good. It's pretty existential, which I don't not like.
Yeah.
But same thing with the cast. Bryan Cranston's the first one that shows up on screen. I thought that was a great little surprise.
Always a great thing to see.
But no, I still like Grand Budapest is like, and so if you haven't seen any, you gotta watch.
No, I'm planning on going down the rabbit hole over the next few months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not quite living up to that. And then French Dispatch kind of has a special place in my heart. So of those three, it's the bottom. But overall, no, I still really liked it.
Pretty good bar to meet, though.
Yes.
That still puts it in like the top third of his movies for you.
Yes.
Right. So I would agree. I think that this is a excellent example of a director like honing his craft.
Mm-hmm.
He has such a unique and eclectic taste in filmmaking and styles. And, there's films like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, which are great, but they don't catch like I think his live action proper stuff does.
Yeah.
So for me, it's that years of experience is clearly on display here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like technically so precise and really, really good. There's I have a few little nitpick cons, which I don't even know. It's gonna be tough to talk about, and be like, yeah, this is a really negative thing about it, because there were just a couple moments where I was like, oh, I didn't really like that. But for the most part, it's Yeah, it's him being excellent. It's finding excellent cast, excellent production team to just make an excellent film. And it is, like Trevor said, a little bit out there in terms of it's like a movie within a play.
Yeah, it's very like Midsummer Night's Dream.
Within it's a movie within a play within a like a TV program.
It's a play within a movie.
It's like a 60 minutes type
Yeah.
thing.
It's a TV program within a movie about a play.
Switch that. A play about a movie.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That's
No, the
confusing.
movie's
No,
about
it's
the
a movie.
movie's
It's a movie.
about the
But
movie
the
is
movie
the play.
takes place on on a stage. But
So it's a
I've
little
not had
weird
enough
in
to
that
drink for
point,
this.
but we'll talk about that a little more. What did you guys have for pros?
I think
Positive things.
I think the super easy one is the cast, right? I mean,
yeah,
the cast is stellar.
And-
It really is great.
the new additions with Steve Carell, Tom Hanks, and Scarlett Johansson. I think Scarlett Johansson, well, even Steve Carell too. I think they fit in the best. And Tom Hanks is just being grumpy Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But
He's always good at that.
yeah, but no, I thought for them because they haven't necessarily been in his other stuff, and so bringing them in, I thought was a really good. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah.
The three girls
The
seemed
kids?
a little out of place just for his style.
Yeah.
They're very like loosey goosey and kind of just like free flowing compared to like having set pieces where like two dudes have to stand and look at a barn and
Right.
it has to be very symmetrical and the three little girls just didn't quite like fit into that. But
Sure.
it was still great. Yeah.
Yeah, really good cast. The standout to me was ScarJo. I know she's a good actress. I think
It's nice to be reminded of that, though.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talked about this on the way home, and I hate when I say this a lot, but Brett and I talk a lot. If you haven't caught on yet. But we were kind of talking about
like we're
ScarJo
friends.
specifically, and we were like, man, we really hope she's past like the MCU, the Lucy's, the Ghost in the Shell, like part of her career, and can do more of the Jojo Rabbits, the Asteroid Cities, like because when she does these, she's really good. And I've never been a huge fan of her, but she's great in this.
Yeah. I think we would be reminisced if we didn't also mention Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman. Jason Schwartzman. It really does like put a lot of the film on his back and carries quite a bit of the weight of what Wes Anderson's, I think, trying to say in this film. He is that connection to the director and the audience thematically that we're supposed to really connect with. Everything else around him is obviously building on it.
Yeah.
But you have to understand his motivations, I think, to really... you can appreciate the film, but I think if you want to understand the film, that's who you need to connect with.
Yeah.
And he is the only one I think that is in like all the layer. We see him
Yes.
as a real person, we see him as the character, and then we see him like behind the scenes kind of
Yes.
thing. And,
Yeah, he is the only one that carries through outside of one other character.
like frequently, yeah.
The real weird one was Bryan Cranston when
Yes.
he showed up randomly in the film.
Yeah. I'm not
Get
supposed
out
to
of
be
here!
here.
What are you doing?
That's one of those things. It's like a nitpick. Like maybe I just don't get it, but like why was that?
That actually leads into like one of my. Can we get into cons? Are we
We
still in
just
pros?
bounce. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay,
we
great.
can bounce back
Yeah.
and forth.
My con about this, or like the biggest thing I wish would have been done differently. Wes Anderson in his previous works has a really great sense of humor. Like the humor is very situational and it's very there's no punchline. It's just like there's a great. I mean, it's one of my favorites, so I'm gonna keep talking about it. The Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
Police show up and it's this very like kind of what's gonna happen, and Ray Fiennes goes, she's been murdered, and you think I did it. And then he bolts and he just runs. And it's perfect. But in this one, I feel like we got too much of like... Because I found myself laughing after they would say something, but then I would miss the punchline because I was laughing.
Because you were laughing. So
Yeah.
the setup was better than the punchline.
Yeah, and then kind of like with that, where Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston just shows up. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen any... Like, it just seemed like a left turn from his typical style.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did think it was funny, though, because he pops in and you're like, oh. And it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. And then he just walks off and you're like, what? And even Brett, I think even like we leaned over to each other and was like, that was Bryan Cranston, right? Like, what just happened? Yeah, it was pretty silly. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little,
I need to watch more.
It's a little bit different from his his comment. It did feel a little different than something like Grand Budapest. At the same time, I found myself laughing through the whole thing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
definitely.
it still worked.
Yeah, we were
laughing
a
It was
lot.
just a little different.
We were laughing a lot. We were probably the two loudest laughers
I think
in the
so.
theater.
Well, I went and saw this with Easton.
Oh,
and
nice.
And he was like, yeah, there was this idiot in the theater that kept laughing. I was like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, we were laughing a lot. It was funny.
I think one of my biggest pros is I just have camera and and movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's this I like how Wes Anderson uses framing and camera movement to move a scene forward. Again, talking to Tyler about it, but how like the flip side of the coin that I see is someone like Spielberg, who's really good at moving the camera and framing around action, and at the but the camera is always feeling like it's catching up to the action. It's not a bad thing. I think he does it in an incredible way, but Wes Anderson does it so different where he's using the camera, it's moving so the action's waiting for the camera. Like he's the camera feels like it's there and it's noticeable, and I actually really enjoy it. It's a weird dichotomy.
I wrote the same pro down, and I wrote, just as a very brief one sentence way of saying that is phenomenal use of the camera to create movement in otherwise still frames.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what he does is symmetrical. A lot of it is like actors are standing there on probably a taped X on the floor, and they're like, the camera gets there, and then they say their line, and then the camera moves, and the camera is what creates the movement through the movie, not the characters. And I think that's so different from everyone else in Hollywood. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. My cheeks hurt when I got home after this movie. I was smiling the whole movie because it's just so fascinating to watch. And I had not seen anything like that before.
It's fun to look at. He's someone who can take
but it's like
a minute and a half opening 360 panorama thing and make that an enjoyable experience, because it's not like this quick pan that's like setting like here's where you are and then we get right into the action. It's like here's where we are, here's over here, and then this is this part of the set, and then this is this part of the set, and then like over here, and then over here, and then we have the like cop and robbers drive by.
Right? Yeah.
every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like from those simple shots to maybe it's a full shot and a character just peeks in and the camera does this little it's like just a little bit of a tilt just to get them in, and then they go back. Mm-hmm. Those are the kind of things that I think are just, they're so unique, but they work really, really well.
Yeah, I think the camera can be viewed as a director in this movie. Like, it feels like the camera gets there and says action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. It's awesome. My Braille jersey's at home.
Oh, Game Lord.
For those who don't
chat.
understand that joke, so the Orioles a couple years ago, I think it was like 2018, so 5 years ago. That's not good. They wore jerseys with Braille on the back of them, and so the last names were in Braille.
Oh, that's cool.
In concept, but seeing Braille does nothing. So it's kind of like one of those goofy things where it's like, that's a cool thought, but I don't know how much you thought about it. It's cool though.
For our audio listeners, Tyler is wearing an Orioles.
I have an Adley Rutschman jersey on, who would have beat all but 2 people in the first round of the Derby, which is really frustrating.
Also in the chat, JT is talking about it. It's so funny the way you guys are describing the camera movement, those kind of things. It reminds me of early Edgar Wright movies with comical camera work. Not wrong.
Yeah.
I think Edgar Wright has... What's the last thing he did? I don't feel like he's done anything. I mean, he surely has. I'm just being a...
What is he, done
idiot.
recently?
Yeah.
Baby Driver?
Last night
in Soho?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was it. It was Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I think he too... It's different than Wes Anderson. But it's a very unique style.
Yeah, his style stands out a lot.
Yeah. I
Another
would say
filmmaker
Last
I
Night in
like.
Soho felt still pretty modern filmmaker-y.
Baby
it felt
Driver
very
feels more like
yeah.
Edgar Wright,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and where he does have some of that kind of funny camera work and stuff. But yeah, I think you're right.
Not wrong for sure. Trevor?
We forgot Margot Robbie's in this movie for
Dude,
4 minutes.
I wanted to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I really, that might be one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing because and it's just a little thing. And so Ed Norton plays, oh wait, we're probably not in the spoilers, are we?
I don't know that this is a movie that you have to worry about that with, personally. But
There's one thing that I didn't know going into this movie. When they're in the crater and the thing shows up, I didn't know that was going to happen.
yeah.
Safe to say, there may be some minor spoilers in this conversation. If you're like really dying to see the movie before and not have anything spoiled, probably too late. But we respect if you want to pause and come revisit this podcast when after you've watched it. That said, I don't think Wes Anderson has like that many people who are, at least in our audience, who are like, we have to go watch it. And if they are, they've already seen it. It's been out for 3 weeks. So
That's true.
I think you're safe.
Okay.
Potential spoilers ahead.
There's a sign in the back that says "Death of a Narcissist," and I think that's supposed to be a play on "Death of a Salesman."
Yes.
But I think it's like, I don't know. I mean, this is just in my personal whatever, just how I took it. That like Ed Norton's character is supposed to be this like great, amazing playwright. He's a genius, all this stuff, and he's the only character that dies. And so I think that's supposed to like tie into it. And I don't know, just in their whole conversation about it's the existentialism finally comes to a head.
Yeah.
And I think they have a good conversation about like in terms of the play, but what it means to live and like because he's like, oh no, you didn't get into the play, and she's like, yeah, but then I got this one. Yeah. And so it was a great scene.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I did want to go back to about Wes Anderson. Again, first Wes Anderson film. I assume this probably carries through a lot of his catalog, but Margot Robbie is in the billing for this, and so you see it and you're like, oh man, she's a really good actress. We even mentioned like once she's done having fun while she's young, I'm sure she's going to win an Oscar or two. Like she's really great.
Yeah.
And honestly, her scene is probably my favorite scene of the movie as well. But I feel like Wes Anderson does a really good job at getting a lot out of actors and a little bit of scenes. Like Liv Schreiber's in this, and like all of his stuff's really good.
Yeah.
Like the small amounts these actors are in this film, he's able to get so much out of them. And that there's a lot to be said for that. Like I think back to Jonathan Groff when he talked about being in Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And he like one of the things he said he took away from it was like, I learned how to do a lot with a little playing the king, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like working with Wes Anderson for actors could be a lot like very similar, and that they can learn to get a lot out of a little in a movie. Like, and Margot Robbie's scene I think is a great example of that, where she has a scene with Schwartzman, and she's reciting both sides of the scene she was supposed to be in that's been cut from the play, and it's so good. Yeah, like it's so good. And I just, that scene blew my mind. I was like, yo, this is crazy. We need more of this.
It's one of those on our ride home that we were talking about. Like, I feel like there's something in that scene. Like, there's the thematic linchpin, and I just can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is. So it's one of those, like, on rewatch, I'm sure I'll get a little more out of it. Yeah. So, agreed. Fantastic performance by Margot Robbie in a very small amount of screen time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I
can keep going.
Speaking of things that are like little things that are good, he uses a pipe correctly, which is great. He has like anytime I see somebody use it as a fairly avid tobacco pipe smoker. Mm-hmm. Like anytime I see it in a movie, it's always just like match bowl done. But he's got the pick and he's packing it. And, like, that's the first time I think I've ever seen it in a movie where they, like, take the moment to, like, oh, I'm going to pack the tobacco. And then it's primed for smoke. Anyway, so thanks, Wes Anderson, or whoever wrote this.
Whoever was in charge of that.
Yes. Thanks, Prop Master, or whatever.
Those things are great to notice. Like, when you see them, like, we always joke about me, like, anytime I see, like, a movie set in D.C. and they do Washington, D.C., right? I always am like, yeah. You got it. The small details matter. But one of the things too I wanted to talk about is just kind of the story in this movie, and like, there's a lot to take away from it. One of the things I took away from it is kind of grief and acceptance, and like the real world view of that. Like, I feel like grief and acceptance in film is not always handled in a realistic manner. Like, grief and acceptance are not things that are easy, and sometimes films, like, they kind of move through them fast. But in this, like, I think there's even a line, and I'm gonna misquote it, but there's a line at some point where they say, you know, time doesn't heal all wounds, it's more like a Band-Aid. And like, that's the reality of time and how it relates to grief. And like, it's nice when that's acknowledged in a movie and acknowledged in a way that feels sincere.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just really good. And that was one of the things, like, I went home and I kind of stewed on it. And I was like, man, I really like that. Like, that stands out.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot more to take from this. Like, there's so much.
Well, along with that, after plot twist, the alien lands.
I love how you didn't know that was gonna happen.
I had no idea. And the little green light, I thought the moon turned green or something, or the sun or whatever, and then Jeff Goldblum in an alien costume. I think that was CG, but like, anyway. So after that happens, it's like we get to see every character experience something different.
Yeah.
Like some of the, like for the boy, I can't remember his the son, the Brainiac.
Yes.
He
Woodrow.
he loses his face.
Yeah.
And then there are other characters who experience like this overwhelming need for justice of like the people need to know about this. And then there's other characters that are experiencing loss or just like a general kind of confused state, kind of in Scarlett Johansson's character of like, well, this just is what it is, you know? And so it's like this cast is so massive that you like can't help but latch on to somebody after that happens.
Yep. Yeah,
Who latched on to Steve Carell? Was it the executives? It had to be the executives who were like, yes, look, we can make money off of this.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to sell these plots of land.
That's right. That was great. The vending machine
for
great was the vending machine bit was great.
It was.
Dude, the drinks
fantastic.
looked great. Like,
right?
Like the peel and everything. I was like, dang, man. That, like,
and the way, like, man, and I love in Wes Anderson's movies how props work.
Yes.
Because like that, it's just somebody in a machine like pulling a lever or something.
Dude,
and then the little engine saying on the ground.
And there's the one bit where like Tom Hanks walks up. I think it's Tom Hanks walks up and he's got like 3 of the drinks in one hand, like, and he's like struggling to hold them, so he's like this, and then he's got the one who's like, and I'm just like, dude, that's so great. Like, it's such a small, goofy little detail, but it's so much fun.
Tyler and I were talking about categories that this movie could be nominated in for Oscars.
Oh, okay. Great.
And the one that like came to us as like it has to be is like production design.
Yeah.
Everything from costuming to props, like we've talked about, to miniatures and how they've used this set and environment, puppets. Like, it's all
Roadrunner.
great.
Yes,
the
the
Roadrunner
Roadrunner
is
is great.
hilarious.
Yes.
Great dance in the credits too. Make sure you watch it.
Do you think that because the alien craft, the UFO looks, I think it's supposed to look not great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's supposed to look like the stage play part of it.
Yeah.
Do you think that hurts its chances?
I don't.
No,
No, I don't think so.
I think people will take that away from it though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's intentional enough, and like they show it in the black and white scenes too. Like at one point, a character's holding it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that they're pretty intentional about it.
Nice.
They'll be able to get away with it.
I'm curious how the alien was done. If it was a CG character, if it was like
claymation.
stop motion.
Yeah, I was saying claymation
Yeah.
too.
Claymation,
Or maybe
yeah.
cleaned up with CG.
It looked
maybe.
really smooth. That's why I like
Yeah.
but in that claymation still kind of way.
Yeah.
It was interesting and weird, but I liked it a lot.
And it was even like smooth enough to get the little like
Yeah.
smile thing.
Yeah, when it smiles with the asteroid, I was like, what? It's like, I was not expecting that. But the other pro I just want to hit on before we move on is just dialogue. The scene that stands out to me, obviously we talked about the Margot Robbie scene, but the other scene that I think is just absolutely phenomenal, and there's actually a YouTube video where Wes Anderson breaks it down, is the general speech at kind of towards the beginning of the movie. He wrote it for Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah,
which
Jeffrey
I think
Wright.
is
We didn't
awesome.
have him mentioned yet.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Yes.
He wrote it for Jeffrey Wright, and Jeffrey Wright absolutely knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely.
That scene is great. If you don't watch this movie, at least go watch that scene because I think you'll find it very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Act 1. I wish I could recite it.
What did you guys think about the like Act 1 scenes 1 through 3?
I thought it kind of made it drag a little bit.
Just added runtime.
I think it just added, yeah, because then there's that whole thing to actually now getting into more con stuff.
Yeah,
there's the whole scene in the end about how he talks about how everyone's supposed to be asleep and they're all supposed to do this, like have this kind of experience, and then we get the Act 3 scene or Act 3 all scenes to be run continuously as one stream.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't really change anything. Like, nothing really. I didn't feel like a difference enough in that part to differentiate it from the rest of it.
That's fair. I can see that. Yeah. I thought, at least in the first 2 acts, that it felt like a nice, clean way to, like, break up scenes. Mm-hmm. It made it feel like a stage play more than a film.
Yeah, and I think that was
I think that was the point.
And that'd be the easiest way to do it, too.
It is, yeah. You don't have to worry about, like, showing a character walking off screen so you can, like, where's the next...
Or, like, how the, like, CG curtain fall and then hear the as it raises back up.
My favorite one was the intermission one.
I thought they were going to do it. I thought it was going to be, like, 10 minutes. I was like, can I go get popcorn or something?
It was, like, intermission, optional. And I was like... Well, we because it does run a little long.
Yeah.
I was like, are they gonna do this? Are we doing this?
Oh man,
it's kind of cool.
I wish they would have.
Yeah. Bring back intermissions.
Absolutely, 100%.
100%.
I think Jason Schwartzman. I don't think he would win, but I kind of get to the Oscars thing.
Oh yeah.
I think he definitely will probably get nominated.
I could see him getting nominated.
I think him and ScarJo both have
she'd get. I think she'd get
a supporting.
Yeah.
I think they're both potential nominees for sure.
One thing about this I kind of found it's fine. It's serviceable. Like the rest of them is the music's a little. It's not underwhelming even. It's just serviceable. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's Alexander's Desplat or Alexandre Display. Probably he's French. And he did. Yeah, he's done like a few of the other, not all, but a few of the Wes Anderson stuff too. Although I'm curious if you wrote that little cowboy roundup tune we get at the end with
that was fun.
I do want to talk about the score though before we move to that part. Mm-hmm. I do like the motif that is used. The little, it's almost like a jingle or a chime.
I saw this like 2.5 weeks ago.
I'd play it now, but it would take a second. But I do like it, and it's cool how it runs through the entire score. Mm-hmm. However, where I agree with you is it gets a little samey. The score gets a little samey throughout, and I don't expect Wes Anderson to have
and
I don't expect that.
And his movies don't lend to that.
No,
and they're supposed to be these like quirky, dainty little melodies, and
but no, like the little chime and some of the stuff it's used in, I do like.
Yeah,
but serviceable is probably the best word for it.
Yep, agreed.
Thank you.
My last con is there are some moments in editing that I thought felt rough. It's only maybe 3 or 4 times. I couldn't even tell you exactly where, but it was just like, that felt like an awkward cut. That's maybe a little nitpicky, and because most of the movie is really good, I think the editing is really good. But there were a couple moments where I was like, that was noticeable. Mm-hmm. Like, you hold it a little bit, or like bring it in a little sooner, but whatever happened, it didn't quite work for me. Just a weird little nitpick there. So all right, anything other final thoughts you guys have on the movie, the film?
I keep feeling like there's one more thing to bring up. I just can't put my finger on it. But that's okay. I guess it wasn't that important.
Guess not. Overall, really, really enjoyed it. I always enjoy. They don't come out often enough. I'm gonna give it a booyah.
So I wanted to give it a booyah, but then I was like, I don't know, because we use our rating system as a recommendation.
Sure.
And I don't know that I'd recommend this to everybody. For me and my enjoyment, it is a booyah.
Yeah.
From a recommendation standpoint, it's probably a fanboy worthy. I totally recognize that this is not for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't I think surprisingly, I think Dana would like this movie. Mm-hmm. I think she'd watch it and be like, "Oh, that was fun." But like, if I recommended this to my brother, he'd be like, "That was stupid. Like, why did you make me watch that?" And I would, you know what? And I would be like, "That's a totally fair thought.
Why did I make you watch
Yeah,
that?
why did I? Why would I recommend this to you?" So like, it's kind of hard for me. It's a booyah. For a recommendation standpoint, I think it's fanboy worthy. If you like Wes Anderson, I think you'll like this one.
Trevor, are you familiar with all of the...
I'm giving it a fanboy worthy.
All right.
Attaboy. If you like Wes Anderson, you'll like this one.
That's
yeah,
right.
That is 100% true. I throw it in there as a booyah. It's probably a low booyah, but we just don't get, like, if this was a style that was every year we were getting these kinds of films, I think I would maybe lean it down a little more towards fanboy worthy. But I think it's executed on such a high level of technical. I'm dragging on here. Minutia. That
a certain je ne sais quoi, if you will.
You know, even if it's not what I think someone's cup of tea would be for a film, I think I would still recommend it as, like, it's weird, you gotta see it. At least go experience
That's fair.
it.
It's weird, you gotta see it.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, don't watch any of his others. Like, because they're all kind of
I don't know, man.
weird and you love it.
I'm telling you,
Or not.
I can't wait for you to watch Grand Budapest, and I want to know what you think after you see it.
I will make sure I let you know.
Good. Please do.
Yeah, I will definitely let you know. I'm very excited. I've heard the Royal Tenenbaums is good too.
You know.
Yeah, it's good.
I was talking about it in the break room with a buddy of mine who watched the show, Scott. What's up, baby? We were just kind of talking about it because he had mentioned he wanted to see it. And I was like, "Oh, I saw it this weekend." So we started chatting, and a lady at work walked by and she's like, "Oh yeah, I loved it." She's like, "If you liked it, you should watch the Grand Budapest." And then she's like, "And you should also watch the Royal Tenenbaums." And I was like, "Okay." Darn. So yeah, I'm excited to watch more Wes Anderson films.
Sweet.
I also think, weird thing, we've all done film stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those movies you watch it and you go, "Man, I'd really like to do something like this."
Yeah. You know, we're gonna keep talking about it just a little longer because one of the things I said to you right after the movie, after the credits rolled, was like, Wes Anderson is one of those directors who you feel like he never gave up on indie filmmaking.
Mm.
It feels like a really well funded indie movie, and like, because he's not doing all of the like super big special effects like stuff. Those movies are fun. They can be great. We just get a lot of them, and I'm really appreciative that we get films from someone who's still like, how do we do this like practically? How would we do this for real?
Yeah.
And on a smaller budget.
Yeah.
I don't know what this budget was, but probably not.
That's super high. Well, maybe for salary, but the actors that are in his movies love working with him.
I was gonna say, I think there was a thing with Ed Norton and he was like, I think I made like $4,200. Well, you don't sign up for a Wes Anderson movie to make money.
Right.
You do it because you love it.
It says here, ScarJo slashed her otherwise whopping fee to accommodate Anderson's needs in a modest budget, charging only $4,131 a week.
Jeez,
25 million.
Yep.
Wow.
Was the budget.
Yep.
Have you guys seen like behind the scenes stuff of Wes Anderson?
Yeah.
He is his movies.
Yeah.
Like the way somebody will come and show him like a cloth sample or like something and he's like, "Oh, that's fabulous." And like even the way he moves like with his arms up and he like just his legs all he is his movies. And I love that we get to experience, like, if there was ever a director where it was like what's going on inside his head, it's Wes Anderson.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Okie dokie, let us move on to some news. Clearly, we all like Asteroid City and think
You should watch it.
you should watch it. Give it a chance. If you're even just on the fence of like, would I like a Wes Anderson movie? Give it a chance. Who knows?
I think it's a
weird.
pretty
Just
accessible
watch it.
one.
Maybe you'll love it. There wasn't a ton of news this week that I got.
I have some.
Trevor, I didn't expect you to get any news stories, but if you have any, feel free to share. Tyler, why don't you lead us off, though?
This is probably my favorite news story of the week. Roughly 20,000 viewers are seeing Oppenheimer and Barbie in a double feature, says AMC. And a friend of the show, Easton, is actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He booked it, which I think is awesome. It kind of became like a meme online about, doing a double feature of these two movies because they're so different.
Yeah.
And it's the marketing is working for both of them.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like, it's kind of a goofy, quirky thing, but
I
kind of dig it, honestly.
Enough of the, like, online fandoms got into the, like,
Yeah.
like, let's put these things together.
Yeah.
And, like, the combined Barbieheimer
Yeah.
memes
Hey, man.
and things have kind of taken a hold, and they've kind of captured the heart. I think that's great.
He says Barbieheimer.
Barbieheimer. It'll be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah.
Opening weekend, and compared to Mission Impossible coming out this next week. So I think it'll be the next 3 weeks will be the actual litmus test for how well the summer box office does, because so far it has not done well.
Right.
But we have 2 very hyped movies. Nolan doesn't typically get is big hyped, but he doesn't do billion-dollar movies. Barbie is kind of this cultural thing, and then Mission Impossible, a very successful franchise, generally well attended. Don't feel like out here we've seen that much advertising for it though, so we'll be paying attention to the box office numbers.
Have you guys heard about? So I know at least one. There's a theater that's doing a double showing on the same screen for Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Dude, that's so
gosh,
awesome.
I
Isn't that
love
great?
it.
That's so great.
It's like it's in a different country, but yeah, man.
I respect it.
I love that idea.
Right.
That's really cool. All right. Do you have one? It's a news story. It's worthy of talking about. And people who watch this show would love it.
Though.
I like it.
Fine. So there's been lots of set photos on Deadpool 3 this week, and some rumors of characters coming back. The big one was that Hugh Jackman was spotted in the classic yellow
suit.
Wolverine suit. I'm so tired of... Look, this movie I'll probably actually enjoy the movie. I think I'm so tired of Ryan Reynolds.
I think the Deadpool movies are good though. Like, they've both been pretty good.
No, they are.
Like,
they
and
are.
I think that's worth noting. I think this looks great. I'm excited to see him with the mask on. I think the suit looks cool.
Yeah. A lot better than whatever he opened in that case at the end of X2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, like, it's nice to see, for someone who played the character for so long and never got the opportunity to wear it, he'll have that chance. At least there's that, right? We can always say we've seen it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
So the other one...
That is part of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're aware of it? Jennifer Gardner.
Yeah.
Who played Elektra in back in the
yeah.
day, will be reprising her role.
That's right.
In Deadpool 3.
Are you excited for the Ben Affleck cameo as Daredevil?
No.
So I got to give Luke this credit. This is going to happen, but Luke's like, they're going to make a joke. Deadpool's going to be like, holy crap, Batman. And he's going to be like, no, I'm Daredevil. And he's going to be like, then why do you have the Batman things? And he's like, they're horns. Like, it's going to happen. And then Luke also thinks he's going to make a joke where it's like, man, I really wish you two would have worked out. Like,
yeah.
Because they were married.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, when you say it here, you're like, that's kind of stupid. But when it happens in the movie, I think we're all going to laugh at it.
Probably.
Maybe not the Batman bit, but if he says something about their marriage not working out, we will all laugh.
I think the Batman bit's going to have to depend on how Ben Affleck is going to handle it. Yeah. Because I could, if he's just going to stand there and take it, it lands.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have faith in Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. True.
I think he's willing to have a little bit of fun. So, but no, this is the Jennifer Garner stuff. Is neither here nor there. But the Wolverine costume is cool. I'm excited about it.
Yep.
I have one more news story.
Hit me with it.
Today.
Not really.
I'm not gonna hit you.
Golly. Ow.
Today, and this was rumored. I don't know if this was ever officially announced, but it has been today. EA announced a Black Panther single-player third-person game.
Yep. New studio.
Yep.
Making it.
It's not the same one that did the Spider-Man.
No. This will be on all consoles.
Oh, cool.
Some
really
of the leadership came from EA Monolith, I believe. Did the Shadows of... No. Who did
Mordor?
Shadows of Mordor?
That's Monolith.
Yeah, so Monolith.
Yep.
as at least some of the leadership. Obviously, it's very early. They are just announcing it.
Yeah.
I don't expect this for 3 years, probably, at least. So,
Cool.
The studio is called Cliffhanger Games. Led by Kevin Stevens, who was previously studio head at Shadow of Mordor developer Monolith Productions. Which, Monolith, if you don't know, is working on a Wonder Woman game.
Oh, great.
So
there's lots of superhero games.
Yeah.
Are they missing the boat in terms of, the zeitgeist?
Honestly, I think they're hitting it just right.
Oh, perfect.
Because as superhero movies have kind of declined, video games will have a chance to
That's a good point.
grab that attention
That's a
and
really
maybe
good
take it in a
point.
good direction. So I think they're hitting it at just the right time.
Cool.
Also, Monolith, great choice for a Wonder Woman game.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Last thing, something that launched this last week. Another social media platform to take on Twitter.
Yeah, Threads.
Threads by Instagram.
Yep.
I'm not here to promote it. I'll just let you know that What the Fanboy does have a presence on there. Mostly because it was super easy to be like, sign up for Threads via Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on there.
So, if you're on Threads and you're like, I'm ditching Twitter, or I don't like checking Instagram, but you're into Threads,
We're there.
find us.
Yep, we're all there.
Yep. So
I'm not there.
that's my last.
Trevor's not there.
Don't go there for Trevor. He's not there.
Yeah, I'm out of news stories as well.
Cool. Well, then we can talk about our weekly things we did real quick. And then we'll see if we have any Fanbox questions this week. If you're here in the chat and you want to shoot us a Fanbox question or the Fanboys, send it our way and we'll.
I only did
try
one
and answer
thing. I've been really busy.
That's probably multiple things. If you're really busy
Yeah.
and only one thing, we need to figure out some work-life balance stuff.
Yeah, no. So the one thing I've done is over a long stretch of time, I beat Uncharted 1.
Ah.
There you go.
It's a fanboy worthy. It's a good game.
Cool.
Took me a long time to beat it. It's an 8-hour game. Probably should have took me like 2 or 3 days. It took me quite a while. But no, it's good. Naughty Dog is good at what they do. This was pre The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you wanna, I played it because we watched Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of want to get back into that. So that's what got me back on.
Swashbuckling adventures.
Yeah. It was just fun. So yeah, I beat Uncharted.
Cool.
Otherwise, I'm still reading Fractal Noise. Really good book. Highly recommend it if you're into weird sci-fi stuff. And it's Paolini who wrote Aragon. So if you liked Aragon as a kid, he's writing adult books and they're sci-fi.
Probably because he's an adult now.
Yeah, exactly.
This makes sense.
They're really good. There's 2 books in the series. This is technically the second book, but it's a prequel. So you could read them however you wanted to, personally.
Cool.
I'm reading them in publishing order, so this is going backwards.
Nice.
But it's really good. Really, really good. I talked about it a few episodes back.
You did.
Feelings are still the same.
Nice.
So
Cool. Trevor, did you do anything this week that you'd like to mention?
Sure.
You don't have to. I'm not asking you for like an itinerary,
No,
detailed
you're
itinerary
good.
of your week.
I
just really need to know where you're going to be the rest of the week, and so I'm like using this to build out your
we're not
schedule.
hunting you down.
Oh, great.
But we're kind of hunting you down.
Fabulous.
We may be profiling you.
A couple big things, actually. I released my first short film that Brett actually helped out with. He was I think I credited you as director of photography. I hope that's okay.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
You're welcome.
Accurate.
It's on YouTube, and you can find it at my YouTube channel, Trevor Landreth, or you can go find it at my website, trevorlandreth.com. It's under the films category. Yeah, and we went and shot it last month, and I kind of got approval to release it. I emailed him last week, and I said, if I don't hear back from you by the 9th, I'm
Just
publishing
put it out there.
Yeah, and no one ever responded, so I just went with it. Yeah, so that happened, and then I actually, partly and due to some advice that you gave Brett on a previous episode, putting a book on the edge of the nightstand. My uncle is an author. He's done the Kingdom at the End of the Driveway series, and I hadn't read book 4 or 5, and he wanted me to review book 6 because I have
So you needed to catch up a little bit.
So in like 4 days, I busted out 4 and 5, and then he sent me the manuscript for 6. And I read it and then wrote a review for that. That's supposed to come out, I think, in August.
That's
like
awesome.
late August. But it got me back into reading. So I picked up an old favorite of mine. It's called The Lock by Steve Alton, who also wrote the Meg series.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that name.
Yeah.
Why do I know that name?
And which the books are different than the movies.
Very different.
I've been a big fan of Steve Alton since I was a kid.
Okay,
and
cool.
The Lock, I used to read The Lock every year, and that kind of fell off about 6 or 7 years ago. And so I was like, I need to start doing that again.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Very cool. I love it. I didn't read, but I did watch another movie, Nimona, which is a kind of a kids family movie over on Netflix. I liked it a lot. I don't know how much to say, like, in terms of, this is going to be kind of a little quick review, I guess. It's about a knight who's kind of was an orphan. There's very much this idea of, like, the knights have all come from these, like, royal bloodlines, and here's this one who was the queen, like, kind of picked out and gave the opportunity. And so that knight is then accused of attempting or actually killing the queen, and, like, what?
Wow.
But then has to go on the run and makes friends with this shape-shifting individual named Nimona. She's at first appears to be a young girl, but you learn a lot more about who she is and where she came from as the movie goes on. I love the use of color in this movie, and how it makes, like, it feels very much like kind of an Arthurian legend, swords and shields and knights, but it's, like, also got flying cars and technology.
Oh, cool.
And it blends those things really, really well.
Nice.
Definitely has a message about inclusion and acceptance of who people are, and it's, maybe not safe to make assumptions about people. I think it did a really good job, and I give it a fanboy worthy.
Didn't Netflix recently do a movie, like the sea monster?
Sea Beast.
Sea Beast.
Sea Beast.
Isn't that kind of the same? Is it kind of the same vibe as that?
Similar, but Sea Beast it feels a little more period-esque and very like, it's more of a pirate thing, but it kind of has a similar vibe. Sure. Yeah, I guess I could see how one would put those two in kind of the same camp. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thumbs up for me. I like that one a lot. Nimona.
Where was it at?
Netflix.
Okay.
But other than that, I really didn't do anything else. So we just have one Fanbox question this week. It's for Trevor.
Oh crap! Is that one
specifically from Brandon Lewis over on Twitter?
And if you can figure out what that question means,
what are his 7 favorite film genres sorted by ideal runtime? I don't expect you to actually answer this.
Okay, because I saw it this morning and I was like, I don't know. How do you even ask, like, what does this question even mean?
I love it.
But Brandon is also in a premiere of Dead Reckoning right now.
Oh, nice.
He got an early access ticket, so that's where he's at right now.
Very cool.
Yeah. Good old Baroque and roller.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, Baroque pops in on the chat every once in a while. I didn't put those two things together, but absolutely.
Figure it out.
I'm old and senile, and I can't figure these things out.
Dude, I had my first, like, turning into a dad moment yesterday where I fell asleep on my couch, like, sitting up.
I'm so proud of you.
And then I fell over and I stayed asleep.
Welcome to becoming an old
man.
And
then my daughter walked up and, was trying to wake me up and smacked me in the face, and I was like, oh. And then I went and laid in my bed.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, Brett, now with me on this episode, the old guys actually outnumber the young guys.
This is true. This is true.
All right.
So,
in good company. We do have one other quick question over in the chat. Thank you, Game Lord Master, for sending that in. I just want to know, if you could only watch one of the Barbenheimer movies, which would you choose?
Oh, boy. Woo!
Can we do the double screening thing? Does that count?
That's actually a hard question to answer for me. I can explain why.
No, yeah, go for it. I'm curious.
So, if it's just me, right? I'm choosing Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
But Dana actually wants to go to the movies to see Barbie. And
Dana
for me,
notoriously hates movies, right? Like
she doesn't
she's,
hate
no,
movies.
No, they're the worst thing
but
available. She basically considers it like an abomination against the Lord.
But she's super. No. She's super pregnant.
I'm
so like
sorry,
going to
Dana.
the movies does not appeal to her right now. But
Casting
Barbie
in a
is
poor
one
way.
that she wants to go out and see.
Yeah.
And so like if I had to choose like, hey, you can only do one of these, and I want to see Barbie, I would choose Barbie because I'd get to go to the movies with my wife. And that's always fun.
That makes sense.
So, but if it's just
I can
me,
respect
Oppenheimer.
that decision.
I want to see that nuke go off in IMAX, baby.
Oh man, on that 11-mile
Yeah.
Real,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, film.
Heck yeah. Man.
I think it's also Oppenheimer. I like just because I'm a Christopher Nolan fan,
Yeah.
and I've seen almost his whole filmography, and I have trouble remembering what Greta Gerwig has directed. So
Lady Bird?
I think that
Lady Bird.
Yeah.
And Little Women.
and so I think that I owe it to Christopher Nolan to go see
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
You know,
Favorite Nolan movie?
Favorite Nolan? It's a hot take.
Oh,
I think it's Tenet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm a big Batman fan, and I love what he's done with that character.
Oh, mine's not a Batman movie, so.
Huh?
Mine's not a Batman movie. Mine's
Oh, no, I'm saying like me personally.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I should be picking a Batman movie, but I do think it's Tenet.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's The Prestige, so.
Fabulous.
He has
Hugh
so
Jackman.
many good movies.
He does. He's... Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think The Prestige is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. It's
such a
very
good movie.
Yeah.
It is. I'll throw Interstellar out there for me.
Ooh, I always forget Interstellar. That movie's so good.
That docking sequence alone is like top 10 film moments.
My heart's racing thinking about it right now. Oh, dude, that's so tough. I'll stick with The Prestige. Interstellar's hard to beat too, though.
Did you pick your Barbie?
I
Oppenheimer?
haven't yet. I haven't yet. But you know what? I'm gonna do the.
The contrarian thing and say Barbie.
No. I was gonna say like the three white guys are gonna all say Oppenheimer. What do you know? Big surprise. But for a similar reason, I think I've just had such a good experience with Nolan movies that at this point, like it's hard to. It'd be hard for me to choose any other director. Like if you're asking me to choose between Nolan and almost anyone else.
You're
gonna
pick
choose
Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nothing against Gerwig.
Nolan and McQuarrie.
And yeah.
That makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, agreed. That one, nah, I think I would still probably choose Nolan.
I probably would too. Catalog's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better track record.
Yeah.
As a whole.
Although, Dead Reckoning Part 1, it might be just another notch on the like, ooh, McQuarrie!
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of 4.5 and 5 stars.
I need
on
him
Letterboxd
to
for
make
it.
something
It's
that's
8.1 average on Rotten
I need him to
Tomatoes,
make
dude.
something
Yeah,
that's
it's really high.
that's not Mission Impossible though. Like
You know what he should make?
I want to see.
I know we always
wanna see
give
what
crap
that
to
is.
people who pick, make them do a superhero thing. He should have done
How dare you.
Green Lantern.
Oh.
Yeah, and like make it primarily
In
like the
space.
aircraft stuff.
Yeah,
and
in
yes,
space.
Yep.
Let's do it.
That could be good.
Who would which Green Lantern would it be?
If you're gonna do
Would
the
it have to be Hal
aircraft
Jordan?
stuff, you'll do Hal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
John
it
Stewart
just-
could be good too.
I hope they do John Stewart.
Yeah.
They'll do John Stewart. They're doing John and Hal in the TV show they're doing. So
Oh, good.
I don't know which one will carry on. One of them will die.
I do want to say while I'm here, because I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't. I appreciate the staying away from the Snyder slander, because if it came up, I would have had to leave.
Oh.
And that would have been
Oh yeah.
really embarrassing.
Luckily, Luke's not here. You guys would have gotten in a fist fight.
I go pretty hard on Snyder sometimes too, but I do want to raise the question. Can we end the show with this? Like,
Sure.
we're not going to answer it. We're just going to say it and then bail.
Oh, I'm ready.
Can we do this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Tune in next week to hear our rant. Actually, no. Can I promise that?
So I just want to raise something to think about.
Sure.
I don't know. We should have talked about this in news too. So the Netflix is promoting The Witcher season 3 with little taglines that say, "Yes, he's still Geralt in season 3 of The Witcher."
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Henry Cavill. This is now the second time this has happened with him. Now The Witcher, but first it was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And the Superman thing, he put the suit in the closet, as he said, because he didn't agree to do a cameo because he didn't want that to be his last film appearance, was the rumor. There's all these things, right?
Yeah.
How ironic.
This has now happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the common factor in all this?
Oh no.
Oh,
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you
all I'm
for
saying.
tuning in this week to this episode, watching here on Twitch, commenting. I appreciate y'all. If you're watching on YouTube or listening via the podcast, thank you guys. Write in a Fanbox question about, who's the common denominator.
let us know what you think about Henry
We'll have to
Cavill.
answer it next week. Yeah, let us know what you think of is the Henry Cavill cult a thing. Until then, we'll see you.